So I'm going to be talking about the respiratory system, and here is my drawing. So first we have the frontal sinus, which is right here, and then we have the nasal cavity, which is right here. The nasal cavity is the entrance of food in the digestive system. Then we have the pharynx, which is the space behind the nasal cavity, and oral cavity that helps produce the saliva. And then we have the esophagus, which propels the bolus of food into the stomach. We have the epiglottis, which is right here. And the epiglottis covers the esophagus, making sure the food does not go through to the lungs. And then we have the larynx, which is right here, which that is basically our voice box. It holds the vocal cords and is responsible for swallowing as well. And then we have the trachea, which is right here. The trachea serves as passage for air, and it moistens and warms it while it passes into the lungs and protects the respiratory surface from an accumulation of foreign particles. And then we have the bronchus, which is this area. It is the passageway for air to travel to the mouth and trachea and down to the alveoli and back out of the body. And then I'm going to talk about what happens when we breathe. So oxygen is breakdown down into the capillaries. It runs down and it gets rid of the CO2 and then goes back out, which in turn is being inhaled. So when we inhale, oxygen moves from the alveoli to the blood into the capillaries, and then carbon dioxide moves from the blood to the capillaries to the air to the alveoli. And then during gas exchange, oxygen moves from the lungs to the bloodstream. At the same time, carbon dioxide passes from the blood to the lungs. This happens in the lungs between the alveoli and the tiny network of blood vessels called capillaries, which are in the walls of the alveoli. And then, as a result of all this happening, oxygen diffuses across the membrane.